study in Canada, fully funded scholarships. And the question of today is, if you have the chance to make a decision, you have got fully funded scholarships to study in Canada and in any other country, maybe let's say United States or United Kingdom or Germany, Norway, Finland, whatever country it is, where would you go? That's number one question. And the related question to that is, if you have to prioritize the countries to apply for fully funded scholarships, where will you be focusing your attention to? And I'm going to answer these questions to give you understanding as international students, what are the advantages and what are the benefits you are going to get if you go to study in Canada with fully funded scholarships. There are so many things people don't understand about Canada. Some people, they just put so much information, even if they're not true, just to exaggerate what is all about Canada. And some people provide the fact about study or life in Canada. And I'm going to talk just a small portion of it, the aspect of international students. And these are some of the things, international students, you have to pay attention when you are making a decision if you get scholarships to study overseas. Fully funded scholarships, whatever country you are or you are going, you need to focus on some of these factors. The first thing I usually ask people, or to make sure that people understand, why are you going to study in that particular country? Or what is your end result? Is your overall purpose is to go to study in that particular country and to go back to your home country? Or if your plan is, I want to go to study in that particular country, possible work for a few years, or become permanent resident of that particular country, and possible become a citizen of that particular country. If you are answering those questions, that I'm planning to go there to study, work, and possible become permanent resident and make life in that particular country, Canada is the best option for you. But if you are just going to study, finish your studies, and right away go to your country, you can go to any other country. You can go to Europe, you can go to Australia, New Zealand, whatever, US, Canada, any country you can go. But if you are thinking about possible immigration, to immigrate and live permanently in that particular country, you have to focus, or you have to pay attention to Canada. And these are the following important reasons why I give much credit to Canada. Let's go to overall immigration of Canada. Canada is like Australia when it comes to what is called the merit-based immigration system, or the point-based immigration. What does that mean? It means you don't need to get sponsorship of a company. You don't need to get sponsorship of any person so that you can get permanent residence, just like in the United States. Yourself, you can apply to become a permanent resident because you have met certain requirements, because you have certain points. You can apply, or you have bachelor degree. Now you have studied the master's in Canada. Your master's is in Canada. You have work experience, maybe from this country. Now you have also 1, 2, 3, 4 years experience in Canada. You speak English, or you speak English and French. Then you have this amount of age. You have this one, you have this one. So based on all those points, on your own, you are allowed to apply and to become a permanent resident of Canada. So there are so many pathways for someone going to Canada as student after finishing your studies to become a permanent resident of Canada. That's the biggest one. Not many countries, they have so many pathways you can transition or adjust. In the US, if you have just a bachelor, sometimes you have to either get married or you have to wait for a company to sponsor you. There are few options than in Canada. That's the number one reason to consider. Number two reason to consider why you should go for fully funded scholarships or programs in Canada, even if you want to pay for yourself to go to study in Canada, is the regulations on students to have the work permit. All countries in Western world, when you are going to study as full-time as international student. So if you are studying full-time as international student, you are supposed to be full-time international, and if you want to work, you work on part-time basis. When we say full-time, we mean 40 hours per week, and part-time is 20 hours per week. So international students, be in Canada, be in Europe, be in other countries, you are allowed to work 20 hours per week. But there is something in Canada is different from the United States and other countries. When you have dependents, and by dependents I mean children and spouse. Let's say you are married and you go to Canada with your spouse. You are studying masters, your spouse has a bachelor degree. While you are studying in Canada, in other countries, your spouse or dependent in general is not allowed to work while you are studying. You are only the one who's supposed to work, and you will be working part-time. But in Canada, you will be allowed you to work as part-time while you are studying, but your spouse will be allowed, given you a work permit, to work full-time. So even if you don't have fully funded scholarships to study in Canada, you can be able to sustain your life well if you are married, because your spouse is given work permit for working full-time, 40 hours, and you are working 20 hours, so those are 60 hours. So 60 hours, if you get $15 per hour, that's a very good income per month. So that's something you have to figure out, to consider in that particular aspect. But also, students are allowed to work off campus. Some countries you are not, even in the United States, unless otherwise is during the holiday time, or you have a special permission, because students are restricted to work only on campus. Another reason to consider Canada, the third reason, is post-studies life. What type of work permit will you be given as a post-studies life? If you finish studies in the United States, you'll be given 1 year work permit, which is called the OPT, Optional Practical Training. For people who are in the science, STEM, engineering, technology, math, they can be given up to 18 months of work permit, OPT. That means they can work, get experience. In the United Kingdom, they just changed their regulations. So from July 1st, 2021, you are allowed to work 2 years if you have finished the master's. You are given the work permit post-studies after finishing your studies. And for PhD, you are given 3 years, which is very, very good. I like it. But in Canada, post-work studies is determined by the number of years of studies. So if you go to Canada, you study 2 years for masters, you'll be given 2 years work permit after finishing studies. I'm not talking the work studies or work permit while you are studying. I'm talking about you have graduated. You'll be allowed to work full-time 2 years if you do masters for 2 years. If you do bachelor for 3 years or 4 years, you'll be given a work permit of 4 years. If you do PhD for 4 years, you have gone to get 4 years. So that's a very good deal. Why? First of all, you are given more years of getting work experience. Even if you want to go back to your home country, you can get a good work experience, a professional work experience, which can help you to go back and do better jobs. But if you want to stay in Canada, remember, after having 2 years of professional work experience in Canada, and you studied in Canada, you are allowed to be given work permanent residence of Canada. There are different pathways for students to get that one, but we have the most famous express entry. You can be able to apply, and you'll be qualified automatically because you have so much already on your plate to be competitive than a person who is outside of Canada. So for those few 3 reasons, there are other reasons, but for those 3 reasons, I would like to convince you, when you are applying for scholarships, focusing more in Canada, if you are thinking about your post-educational life. Do you want to stay in that particular country for a little bit longer, or you want to go back to your home country? If you want to stay longer, Canada is the best destination than any other country. Yes, I mentioned the United Kingdom to change the regulations. They have changed it to have 2 years for masters, 3 years for PhD. But still, I would advise you to go more in Canada, because England nowadays is having some point system like Canada. But England is a small island with the overpopulation than Canada is a big country with less number of people in the country. So they have so many immigration opportunities, or the jobs and opportunities for immigrants if you meet all the qualifications they need. So focus more, applying more in Canada while you are applying in other countries. I will be coming here showing you and highlighting to you and bringing 100% fully funded scholarships for bachelor's, master's, and doctorate to study in Canada. So take opportunities which I'm going to share with you. Thank you so much. Remember to share this video to others, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.